Hey, we are back with another city tour. This video was filmed in 360 degrees, so feel free to move around and explore our capital city, Berlin, yourself. Sadly, because you can see just a fraction of the video at once, the quality is not that great, but we are doing our best here. So no more talking, let's start right away and hopefully you can learn something on the way. First, we begin with the entrance to Berlin. The Berlin main train station. The station that takes up 5 levels is the largest tower station in Europe. The building was opened in 2006 and welcomes 300,000 passengers daily. The station is one of the most important transport hubs in Berlin. In the bottom floors long-distance trains arrive and on the top floors the trams and regional trains. There's also a subway station bordering the main train station and bus connections in front of the station. Building the station was a big struggle since we don't have many data of the station. That's why it's still under construction, but what we already got is very impressive. Next up, we visit the boulevard that goes between the Brandenburg Gate and the Museum Arland. We start here on the Parisian Square. The square was built in the year 1734 and used to be the entrance to Berlin. Soon the Brandenburg Gate was also constructed on this square. The square was destroyed during the Second World War and then became the border between West and East Berlin. After the reunification of Germany in 1989, the square was rebuilt with mostly modern buildings like the American and French embassy. You can also see the Hotel Adlon here, it's the most expensive hotel in Berlin. Now we move to the luxury boulevard under the Linz. The street was constructed as a road to go from the palace to the Tiergarten. Now we enter the part of the street called Fridericianum. Many famous buildings are in this part, like the Humboldt University, one of the most renowned unis in Germany, where people like Karl Marx or Otto von Bismarck already studied. Moving to the right we enter the Bebel Square. On the right we can see the library of the Humboldt University. When Nazis took power in Germany, they burned the books of Jewish foreigners or ideological targets. You can see a small memorial on the ground of the square. Now we enter the Schinkelplatz, a small memorial for one of the most influential architects in Berlin. On the right we can see the Friedrich-Wertsche Church. It used to be an evangelical church, but today it's part of a museum. Now we move on to the City Palace of Berlin. This palace used to be the palace of the German emperors, but got destroyed by East Germany after the Second World War due to ideological reasons. Afterwards they built the Parliament of East Germany here, the so-called Palace of the Republic. After the reunification the Parliament was destroyed and the Humboldt Forum was constructed there. 10 years ago, a project to rebuild the palace was opened and it got over 100 million euros in donations. So the reconstruction started. Today most of the facade of the palace is already finished. And our last goal of this street is the Berlin Cathedral. The almost 100-meter high church is one of the most iconic landmarks in Berlin. The church was opened in 1905 in a neo-Baroque style. It got almost destroyed during the Second World War and got reconstructed in a more simple way in 1984. After the reunification, the interior was remade in its original form. In Minecraft we can also enter the church and take a look at the interior. Next up, we will look at the German parliament, the so-called Reichstag building. It was constructed from 1884 until 1894. Today it's the political center of Germany. During the separation of Germany, Bonn used to be the capital city, but after reunification a vote decided on Berlin becoming the new old capital. The Potsdamer Square went through most of the important history of Berlin. It was constructed in the year 1743 as a tariff collection place. Until the Second World War it was the most important transport node in Berlin and one of the most important in Europe. It was the place to meet the political, cultural and social elite. In the Second World War it was destroyed and it became just an important place on the border. In 1961 the Berlin Wall was built through the square, which impaired its state even more. But after the reunification of Germany, the Potsdamer Square and the Leipziger Square were completely rebuilt in a modern way, making it one of the most visited places in Berlin. And this was our second city tour with a wild ride through the history of Berlin. As always, let us know what we can improve and what you would like to see in 360 Degree. Until next time, bye.